What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90, where we've got a video for you. Now, apologies for Saturday. I didn't manage to get a post match. There was actually a post match that I was a part of. If you head over to the link in the description, or which I'll try to remember to upload, but if you go to Anil's channel or for Fox 8 TV, you'll be able to see my thoughts a full hour. And Anil does a brilliant post match there. And the problem is, he's really good. And I've been thinking, what can I bring to the space that isn't currently there? Now, if we talk about the game and we talk about the specifics and, oh, it's so good, we came from 3-2, 2-0 down to win 3-2, and I'm over the moon, just as every Leicester City fan deserves to be. I want to talk about a little bit something different. My thoughts, maybe some people have mentioned them, but I don't want to watch other channels because I don't want to take their opinion. And I've stayed off this for a little bit. Here's what I want to mention. So, another person I respect very highly, Dominic Wells. If anybody's listened to BBC Radio Leicester, they used to have him on a lot. Tactical, very, very, very good at the tactics. And he did a thread on it. Again, I'll put the thread. I won't read all of it in particular. It's a very, very good thread, but I'll link it below to go into it. And he was again mostly negative, which I thought was very interesting. First, because I thought, okay, brilliant. This is obviously as a result, it would be brilliant. And I wanted to break it down and think and analyze what can I mention that turn the game on its head, and where does Steve Cooper go from here? Because let's be honest, he's going to be in charge with us, considering the position we're in. And if you look at the table at this moment in time, we're in a good position. Let me get this one up. If we bring up this table, after 9 points, sorry, 8 games, we're on 9 points. So we're sitting in 13th place. Now, this is beyond what we expected. Yes, there is still 30 games to go in the season. And I'm not saying, oh, the game's over, this season's over. Absolutely not. We've got a long way to go. However, 6-point gap on Crystal Palace at this stage in the season is great. And there's still 3 teams get Bournemouth, West Ham. Birmingham, Bournemouth we beat them and they'd just be Arsenal. You know, with the old school when people used to say at school, well, therefore we're better than Arsenal. This is just something to mention. So looking at this position, we're in a really good and healthy position at this moment in time because of that win. 2 wins on a draw. So 2 wins, I believe. Let's go back to that one. 2 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses. On paper, that doesn't seem too bad. And then we have faced an easier opposition. I think we had an easier run in. But again, points are on the board. If the season ends now, we stay up. And that's all that matters. We don't stay up comfortably. We don't stay up like by the skin of our teeth. We stay up comfortably. But I want to talk about some things that my thoughts on the game and why I think that coming down from it, because again, we were absolutely over the moon and rightfully so. Enjoyed that performance. When's the last time we were 2-0 down? We came back to win 3-2. Where was it? The Aston Villa when we won the league. And that was it about this time in 2016. God, we're going back 2015. Sorry, going back 9 years. Mental to think, right? Isn't it? Anyway, that was another game of just brilliance and the team turning it on its head. I want to get into some of the formations and things like that and why, because let's be honest, in the first half, it was poor. It wasn't working. Now, let's get this on screen and let's get some of the formations. So, I've left the keeper, but obviously Manson's in goal. And this is a 4-2-3-1 that we've basically seen from Steve Cooper. He had the choice of pretty much everybody who's injured. Patson Daka's injured, Solarchek's injured, and there's a couple of other players that are injured as well, but nobody really to fault. A couple of things to mention just with this, and again, it didn't really work. It just was poor. For me, what was really frustrating is that Southampton are a team that you get at, and we saw this from last season. I forgot to do a video on it, but it's the biggest comparison where we were last season to where we're going this season. Last season, about 11 months ago, we went there and smashed them 4-1. I believe it was 4-1. And we set up a nice mid block and we frustrated them. It was a bit end to end at the beginning. Endo controlled the game, put in a mid block, and then decided, right, we'll hit them on the counter. I believe a couple of games we hit them, and it worked really, really well. This where we started. Again, I didn't manage to watch much of the first half, but from hearing it, from reading other people's, it was poor. It was really poor. And going 2-0 down Southampton, I believe that Southampton haven't scored 2 goals in a match this season, and they're 2 up by half time. We kept giving the ball back. I mean, it's the negativity that I don't like. It doesn't mean that there is a time and a place to play defensive football. For example, against Aston Villa, we're playing those 3 midfielders that I totally understand. But again, the formation that we played, um, every time we got the ball, we sat back, we held it, and we just hit it long. And you're only going to do that a certain amount of times before it comes back to bite you, and it bit us. And we're quite lucky that we're getting a great Hermansen save to make it 3-0 from this team to really take it up a level. We were losing possession, and it's kind of reflects in this. If you look at the game and the responsibility of it, let's have a look at a couple of bits. The momentum, we had a little bit of a Southampton, a little bit of a start. We came into the game a little bit, but again, this doesn't tell you a lot. But we were poor for large periods. That we ended the second half quite strong. I think El Canous, really good shot, hit the inside of the post and bounced out. But other than that, we didn't really offer Southampton too much. And I was thinking, oh my God, here we go. What we doing? Tactically, I think we got it wrong. And I think that's kind. I genuinely thought we got it wrong. It didn't work. But when the pressure was off, so a couple of things. Jamie Vardy had very little touches of the ball. Kind of played out as a number. I think he had like 6 touches in the first half. We're looking at somebody like Fast was kind of pinned back. Akoli was coming in with last minute challenges. James Justin for both the goals were isolated, and I don't think that they really solved that. I think that there was, it's just about being honest. It's an issue that's been playing on for a while, but we're seeing teams going, right, there's the weak point. And as I expect my team to do to other teams, there is a weak point, expose it. And I think I've said this channel before. If somebody, for example, you've seen it before, if somebody's going, something like a fullback of theirs goes on a yellow after like 20 minutes, first thing I've written right in my notes, expose that, capitalize on their weakness. And they capitalize on our weakness, and our weakness is James Justin. I don't think it's James Justin's fault exactly. I just don't know. Does he want to come and sit, or does he go and attack? And it just feels a little bit off, and he's just getting beaten. And both goals came down from his side. That is something that I want to see going forward. Are we going to change from this? Because what happened, Ryan Fraser, who I believe is there, who came on, but he came in place of, is it Dibbling that he gets substituted for? No, Sulemena. Was it Manning? Let's have a look at this now. Charlie Taylor, no. So anyway, they came off that side, and that's where they were getting their joys, which was a bit frustrating. Now into the second half, what did we change? So we went to this position, and we really, there wasn't any risk. There wasn't. I didn't think. Sorry, it wasn't any risk. There wasn't any. We weren't planning on getting anything from the game. Let's be honest. At 2-0 down, so substitution he makes. He takes off Skip, and he puts in Winks, which is a like for like sub. Let's be honest. Maybe his thought was we want to try and get some possession on the ball a little bit more. Fair enough, but it is a like for like substitution. We'll get onto the substitutes in a bit. But the way we start the second half, we kept piling on pressure to ourselves, and it was unnecessary. Southampton were going brilliant. They started the game better than us, let's be honest. And the momentum, I was thinking, oh God, is it going to be one of those games where we just don't make the substitutions that we need to? Harry Winks was not the substitution I made. It's kind of a safe bet. And it's not the really, I don't think Winks was having a bad game, to be honest with you, that he needs substituted, but it's a very Steve Cooper substitution. And they started piling on the pressure. And then again, 51 minutes, Fast has that incredible Van Persie header into his own net. And this is the thing, Fast has been great. And I'll give you another example about Fast. This is something he will always be picked up on. If you don't know him, you'd always think about Fas as the dude that puts the ball in the back of his own net. He is a live wire. For 5 million, I think he's a good buy. Um, Defensively, though, he can be fantastic, but he'll make he'll sometimes jump out of position. He'll sometimes run, and I'm not sure if he's going to be great for the last man. This is something I want to show you. Um, Against Southampton, the progressive ball passes and carries. Yes, this was towards the end of the game, which I'm going forward a little bit. Look at this. Fast and Coley, faster specific, Coley, both of them, progressive passes, passing forward more than anybody else. Walker Peters is another one. Another one I want to capitalize on and show you. Obviously, for Tau, we'll get into it a bit. And again, I will not stop singing about him because he's bloody amazing. Hermansen had more than Mavididi. Now that says a little bit about both of them. I think Mavididi wasn't really utilized as much as he could do in the game. I think he really started to take it up a level once we changed tactics a little bit. But again, I just want to show you that to go. Bas is a good player, but people will only remember him for the calamities. But the he's not worth dropping in the team because his calamities don't make up for people remember the calamities, they don't remember all the good stuff he does. And he's been one of our if you take out Buonanotte, Hermansen, would you say Fast has been our third best player? And Diddy as well. But I think the Fast goes under the radar. I think he does a lot of good cleaning up stuff. But I think again, from time to time, he either lacks concentration or just something erratic like that one. Great header, just the wrong way round. Then again, we started to play some of the game, and we started to create a little bit more. And then he made the substitution, which I think changed the game. And this allowed us, and it's the first time we've seen him do this. Well, first time for an extended period of time. Because the breaks were off. There's something that happened. Christensen comes off. And in his place comes Fatawu. Now, obviously, Fatawu isn't a left back. So James Justin comes over here to left back. Fatawu comes in to kind of right-sided centre back. Akoli which way around was it? I think it was Fast that pushes over to the right. Akoli through the middle. Player one, Hermansen. And then Fatawu kind of hangs around this area, but and then in defense, he'll create like a 3. But when we were in possession, which is what Winks did, it allowed for some really cool stuff. So Mavididi came across here. El Canus came across Buonanotte. Fatawu then came over. And at times, Winks was the single pivot. Ndidi used to move into this line at times where El Canus was the one hanging back. And Ndidi was making up the 4. And again, does this remind you of something from last season? 4-2-3. It's the Enzo ball. Enzo ball is back a little bit, baby. So again, we could see this is a formation that we used to play. I think James Justin looked better in that position on the left-hand side. Now, he's played for Luton half of his career on his left, half on his right. I think we favoured him more on his right-hand side. But the unorthodox of it has been quite good. Now, for Tao, I can't sing highly enough of him. He was so good in the game. And he was so good. He was everything we wanted from him. He'll cut inside. He'll smash a ball from far. The 2 defenders with him don't know what to do. They tried to mark 2-on-1, and he was going, cool, I'll go this way, I'll go that way, I'll do what I want. I'm going to decide what I'm going to do. And if it wasn't for some better finishing, he could have had a hat trick of assists in the game and potentially even a goal. A goal hit the post. I think, again, this guy is brewing. However, this is against a weaker opposition that's probably, let's be honest, most likely to go down. They haven't changed that much from the Championship. They've got some players that are slightly better, but that's mostly it. Let's be perfectly honest with you. That's mostly a Championship team. And again, you can only be who's in front of you. And maybe I'm being negative, but I want to see Fatal. I want to see him challenging the best in the league because I think he's got the ability. And I want to see him figure out a defender. And he's announced himself. in the Premier League in this game, which I'm so happy about. But what we're going to do from here? So obviously we've got this position, and another player again that's normally been taking his place over for Tawu. The next change was El Kanous for Jordan Ayew. So in this game, I did get the right. I was just somebody Andre Ayew. In Diddy dropped back, Winks dropped into that. In Diddy dropped alongside, and at time, and then Ayew goes into the 10, which I thought was again a good move. Ayew is. I remember Jeff Peters put something out going, "Where are all you Ayew haters now?" And I genuinely don't think there's a Leicester fan that goes, "I hate Jordan Ayew." I don't. I just think he should be used like this in this game, getting us the winner. Coming in, can play anywhere along that front line, but he shouldn't be playing 90 minutes. This was a great game for him because he got the last minute winner, which of course he wants and any player wants, but you're getting these attacking positions. Buonanotte again, tremendous. Didn't stop winning back. He doesn't he's on loan to this club, but you couldn't tell. You would have thought he's a new signing. He really wants to give everything, and I'll be so frustrated if he leaves in this. Obviously, he's going to leave back on loan, back to Brighton. But I'll be so frustrated to see what happens in the summer. But I'd love to keep him. I'd love to keep him. 40 mil is a lot, but again, we'll have to see. In this position, because we changed to this, something happened. We started to get a hold of the game. Now, the game was still end-to-end football. If at 2-0, we were still having to go, they were still having to go the other end. And there was a couple of opportunities they could have got more than us. And then coming again, looking at the bar, we started started to have some possession. Then we started some, and then the goal came. And then again, they started to have possession. The red card really changed it. Southampton didn't know what to do when they had the red card. Do you remember when we played against Coventry last year? And Fatawu got red carded, and the team just didn't look the same with 10 men. And that's kind of our Southampton. Oh, I don't really know how to play with one man down because the system is so system based with each individual player. That for me was a moment where we just went for the jugular. And again, this is not to be negative on the team. The team, when when we started to play, the possession came to us, and we started. I think we got 60% possession in that second half overall. It's more than I think I can imagine for any half I can think of. Maybe Aston Villa was another example, but Harry Winks was instrumental at that, getting the ball, and the team just went into relax mode. They weren't trying to think about what they were doing because they've been drilled so hard by Enzo last season. Give me the ball, I'll put it there. And again, credit to Cooper for making the changes. My thing is, would these changes be made if we were 0-0 in the game at half time? Would he make these substitutions to go and win the game? Or would he be okay with a point away from home against Southampton? The truth is, we don't know. And we'll get into what this means going forward. But just thought I'd mention that. And again, credit to him for making the substitutions. The Winks substitution worked after we started getting Fatawu on. Then obviously the sub against Jordan Ayew for El Kanous, brilliant sub. And I think it benefited everybody, giving them those minutes. Fatawu, I think, again, if he gets a run out for a longer period of time, I think he's going to be unplayable. But Premier League football is going to be hard in general. And we converted back again to an Enzo style. Some brilliant football we played in the second half. And it was because Fatal was unplayable. It was because Winks was getting on the ball more. And it was also because of the red card. Let's be honest with you. And we were driving for the winner, which I love against, again, 10 men Southampton, but regardless, it's a great feeling. Now, for me, we are at this point and we're all happy and high over it, and rightfully so. But my question is, once again, and this, I'm so glad we got the win. At the end of the day, 3 points all that matters. But you've got to think. I always think, like anything, long term. Is it a small win for a period of time? And it depends on what Cooper does because we've got a blueprint there of what can win games. That team playing that way, I genuinely think can get top 10. May could be controversial. Um, that team playing that way works, but it's not his system. The first half, how we set up, playing a winger, a number 10 out of position, playing Mavididi out of position against a team that wants possession, that we can't just give the ball back, then we're 2-0 down at half time. I'm so glad we won because if we didn't win and he goes, I made all these substitutions, we end up losing game 4-0, we're never doing that again. Then we look at him and go, well, fair enough. We tried it, it didn't work. He's got a blueprint there. And you can say, yes, we're down to 10 men, but what was great with this formation as well, and I think I kind of showed you in this. This formation also gets the best out of Mavididi. Mavididi was some brilliant balls across for like not the assist, but the second assist, etc. For some of those, he didn't have his spur take on a man 1-on-1, but he was playing some really nice stuff, and I thought it was really good. The battling, the 1-2, the winks again, and in Diddy, he knows when to go. So at times he was joining in with the attack, and he was joining in up that front line with Ayew sometimes dropping back a little bit. So in Diddy was playing up this high pitch, and we were playing with sometimes a 5 attacking up front. That's a 6. I can't count. And Winks being that base on his own. So again, it's a way that we're playing that can work. My thing is, do we stick with this next time? Because this is the formation that won us the game. Jamie Vardy could be the only other substitution. Potentially can move out for an Edouard, and we'll see. Is this going to be something that we can go forward with? Because the blueprint was there. And it was clear as day for both. And that's just here, again, going back to the formate, going back to that stat chart. This was when we played under Cooper's preferred system. This is when we played under the team's preferred system. 2 goals to them, 3 goals to us. Now, it's an overall generalization. I think both halves gives me the frustration I have with Cooper because I forgot how good this team is. Not because they're not a good team, just because I've not seen it and I've kind of lowered my expectations. And should we do that, football fans? A little bit, but I still think this team could get a top 10. You know how Fulham came up the year they came up a couple of years ago? Yeah, no, last year. Yeah, when Fulham came up last year, they went up and they just kind of continued momentum and built on it. Yes, we've got a different manager. And yes, again, Ricardo Pereira works in playing on that position. You probably need a Ricardo Pereira in that position. I think you could actually slot him into the back 3. And then you've got the option for him to come in and then do the defensive work if you need to. But that formation works with a variety of players. You can still chop and change and put people in cam positions. I think in this formation, hand on heart, and people might slate me for this, Decourt over Reed would work as a number 10. For a Jordan Ayew, if we're playing that kind of football, I think he's made for it. Running into the box, taking on a man, passing it over to a Mavididi, then he can go wide, and you've got 2 players out wide. Both can come in, and both are good defensively. I think them attacking 8 positions, Decourt over Reed could do really well. Fatau obviously on the right-hand side. If he needs a break, then Reed can come over there as well. And we lengthened the pitch. At times, we're not stretched. And this is something that Mavididi did really well last season. And Fatau did really well. They stretched the pitch wide and then came in and took on their man. And then the team were kind of panicked, not knowing what to do. Doesn't mean we have to copy Enzo all the way. But it means there is a formation that works. There is a system that works. And there is a system, and the team looked so much more alive. They weren't thinking about what they were doing because they were drilled from before, and the ball flowed effortlessly. It flowed a lot better, a lot more smoother. And for me, this is going to tell me what Steve Cooper is. Because at the end of the day, look, at time of recording, the people, them not from up the road, are currently playing Crystal Palace on a Monday. They've got 4 days to turn around until I believe they come to us and we play them at home. We've got a little bit of an advantage. This is a really good opportunity to take for them. In my opinion, that 3-2-4-1 will work. And think about Nuno. Nuno's going 3 at the back, 5 in midfield, 2 up front, and they'll play that counter-attacking football. That could work for us. We've got the players, we've got the personnel, we've got the system. What does Rodgers want to do? Sorry, Cooper. I don't know why I said Rodgers. What does he want to do? Because for me, there is something that is working that we've got. That the ball was so smooth, and we saw in the first half how poor it was when we went to play Cooper's way. Even Jamie Vardy came alive second half, and not just because he scored a penalty, he's dropping back and playing other people, the eights in, the wider players in. I think it worked much better. The team just leveled up. And imagine with coaching like that, what Bonanotti can do, what El Khanous can do in that position. I've got a feeling that El Khanous might be used as a Harry Winks replacement, but yeah, we'll have to see. There's some of my thoughts, and it's not to be overly negative. I just want to be a bit more realistic. And I'm so glad we won, but we have a blueprint here that worked. Can we build on it? I hope we can, but there's no guaranteeing it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll try to be back midweek. Again, apologies for the videos. I'll try and do as much as I can, but things have been so busy at the moment. Again, links below to the video with Anil that we did on his channel, and also to Dominic's Wells' post. Have a read through. Let me know your thoughts, and then we can talk about it in the comments. Again, I want to thank you all for being part of the channel. I know I've been gone. It's just life has been really getting just busy. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it's something different to what other content creators are doing, because there's so many new content creators with blue tinted glasses. We've got Ant coming back now, which is great. Leicester Till I Die. There's so many brilliant channels out there for Leicester City. I'm trying to put my own spin on it and put to you my opinion and giving you my own spin on things. Hopefully you've enjoyed them. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for paying attention to this channel, even though it's been quiet at times. We'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye.